What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? I know y'all excited about that Knicks game. I know y'all Knicks fans is excited. I know y'all feel like y'all closer than y'all ever been before. You know, I like to give the shout outs to the Knicks fans and the Knicks organization for believing in themselves and bringing in the right core group to be able to sustain what the Celtics was going to bring to them and everything like that. Shout outs to OKC Thunder for pulling in, bringing in game 2. Shout outs to the Timberwolves for what they're doing without Steph Curry, and I hope speedy recovery for Steph Curry, and I hope he be back next game. But let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, the storyline today is about Jason Tatum. He was out there shooting lights out. He was out there doing his thing, ladies and gentlemen. But the injury god said, no. It's injury guys that always pledges a part in somebody's greatness or somebody's legacy. And it did it to LeBron James. It did it to Steph Curry. It's doing it to Jason Tatum. It did it to Chris Paul. It did it to Anthony Davis. It did it to Kevin Durant. It happens to the best of us in an inopportune time. So all the stars, it look like they're going through that. When they get to that point, it happened to Kobe. You know, it's always these freak accidents that we don't understand. And it reshapes the NBA, you know, it drowns it out. But I know one thing, the NBA need the Knicks right now, more than ever. Because you got Donovan Mitchell out, you got Jason Tatum out, you got Steph Curry out. So to be able to sell a storyline, you actually need the Knicks. Because the Knicks is a huge story that can bring substance to this playoffs run. And when it comes to the conference finals, come on now, what you are, Indiana Pacers and the Timberwolves? Indiana Pacers and OKC. Indiana Pacers and Denver Nuggets. How do that sound? It don't sound too great. You know, for the NBA to bring their storyline back, they need the Knicks to win. This is a great story. I'm sorry, Jason Tatum. This is a great story. This will bring huge viewerships to the NBA if these Knicks get to that finals. Do you know the pandemonium it would be? You will have the whole NBA watching the Knicks because this is a storied franchise that hasn't won one since '73. So the Knicks fans, this is huge for y'all. This is huge. Shout outs to y'all. I understand my Lakers is not in it, but at the end of the day, shout outs to y'all. But Jason Tatum with this freak accident, man, it was devastating. I shout out to him. I hope a speedy recovery. It looks like a back injury, knock on wood. I don't want to wish nothing bad on nobody, but I hear the rumbling saying it's possibly an Achilles injury. I just hope that, you know, he bring himself back and come back, because you know what I mean, he gonna have to take a year off. And because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Pritchard, and all the boys, could they come back? Is they enough? I don't think so, because the Knicks is gritty. They smell blood. The Knicks smell blood right now. And they definitely see it in the water, and this is the closest they feel it. I hear Knicks fans, they happy. It's like they're looking past the Pacers, but I understand why, because last year Jalen Brunson was too hurt. They didn't have Mikal Bridges. They didn't have Karl Anthony Towns. They got some weapons to come back with them, so I believe it's going to get different. I don't know, that should be a great series. You're going to see Reggie Miller. You're going to see the Davis boys out there. You're going to see a lot of people out there that's coming out for the Pacers. You're going to see Reggie Miller. You're going to see everybody that played a part. Mark Jackson, shout outs to him. Shout outs to Reggie Miller, the Davis boys, Patrick Ewing, and all of these stars that's going to come out when it's good for New York. It's just good for New York. It's going to be pandemonium. And it's great for the NBA. The NBA ain't have a story like this in a long time. Do you know what the NBA could do by selling the Knicks to the NBA Finals? That's huge. That's very huge, ladies and gentlemen. So shout outs to the New York Knicks, and you know they got one more game. I hope they close it out in Boston. But hey, shout outs to them. You know, I'm from New York, but I'm a Laker fan to heart. 824 Laker for life. This guy right here. So, you know, only thing I would do, I'm going to do what Kobe would say. Shout outs to them, and I wish them the best. They're very competitive this year. And shout out to Karl Anthony Towns, man, for putting his big ass on that block. That's where the money at. That's where they signed him. They put your big ass on the block. Yes, you said you're the greatest shooter, big man shooter, but at the end of the day, some games you can play to be that big man shooter. But playing the Boston Celtics, you needed to get down there on the block because they didn't have nobody down there. They didn't have an answer for you. And I told people they needed OG Anunoby to step up. And that's why they won this game. He was subpar the last 3 games, but OG stepped up with a huge game last year and a huge steal on Jason Tatum that set the momentum swing through the Knicks' way with that injury. But like I said, it should be a great win for the Knicks. But back to Jason Tatum, is a huge storyline because at the end of the day, they're going to break up the team. They can't afford it, that team no more. So as we look at the Boston Celtics as it looks today, the last time, shout outs to the Golden State Warriors. You know, is Steph Curry going to come back? Is he going to come back? Do you think he's going to come out there and be a decoy for Game 5? Do you think he got it in him? Do you think he would take that risk at his age? I don't know. Shout out to Steph Curry, man. I hope a speedy recovery. You know, like I said, Denver looked it good, but Shea, he's silky smooth, baby. Shout out to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's silky smooth. But like I said, the NBA need the Knicks in the playoffs. They need the Knicks in the finals. That's the only thing that's saving the NBA. Everything about them is trash, but you give us a storyline about the New York Knicks. I don't think Boston would have been great far as the repeat, the storyline of they chasing the repeat, but the Knicks chasing the championship is a huge story, ladies and gentlemen. That's a huge story. And I believe the Knicks going to get to the finals, man, because the Pacers is a run and gun team. And if the Knicks could slow them down in that half court, they have a huge chance. But if they let the Pacers do that run and gun, run, I think the Knicks going to have a Game 7 series on their hands. I think they are. But Jason Tatum, man, oh my God. Then Dallas Mavericks get the #1 draft pick. Oh my God. Nico Harris, they going to put their arms around him. They're in the Cooper Flags business. Now they're in the business of collecting flags. They're in the business of collecting flags, ladies and gentlemen. They are. They got in the business of collecting flags, which is Cooper Flags, that is, ladies and gentlemen. Cooper Flags is coming to Dallas. But would they trade that pick and get a Giannis? Could they trade that pick and get a huge star to come in and win now? Because I don't believe, like Jay Williams said this morning on Get Up, Dallas is winning right now mode. Cooper Flags is a project, you know, like Luka Doncic was when he first came in the league at 2 years, yes. But Cooper Flags is a project. So do you want a project because you got Anthony Davis for what, 2-3 years? Kyrie Irving gonna come back late. So you talking about Cooper Flags, you give him a 2-year window, and then Anthony Davis is on his 3rd year. Would you want to give Anthony Davis a huge contract? And 37, 38-year-old Anthony Davis? I don't know. It's up to the Dallas Mavericks to decide. Is they going to give Kyrie Irving a huge contract coming off an Achilles injury? I don't know. I'm not Nico Harris. He has a lot to decide, but I know they got some optimism. That fan base got optimism now. That fan base has got something that, you know, they can hold on to. I just hope Cooper Flags could be as great as Luka Doncic is, because at the end of the day, who's going to bring him a ring? But I don't want the people to say, okay, this going to tell about the trade. No. You won't know, because if Luka Doncic was to read the trade to get Cooper Flags, and it's just that it's the way they constructed the trade, would that team have won? But now they getting help. So you'll never know what the difference of the trade, the balance of the trades would be truly are. But shout outs to Dallas Mavericks. They got the #1 draft pick. Shout outs to everybody in the playoffs and everybody that's doing their thing. And I wish Jason Tatum a speedy recovery. But like I said, they need the Knicks in this playoffs. They need the Knicks in this playoffs. Trust me, for the storyline, for the name, for the money, for everything. Both teams stand to make money when it comes to putting the Knicks, because the Knicks fans travel. The Knicks fans is going to travel to Denver, OKC, or Minnesota, even Golden State, because they in it. The New York Knicks fans will travel for that, so it's going to be a huge win for the NBA if the Knicks win. A very huge win. Very, very, very huge. And after that, you could bring the NBA back with the Knicks winning. Knicks is champions? Think about it. They ain't win since 73. They going to bring the stars out. You got to tell us, when you tell them, yo, when you get to New York, don't look at the stars because you're going to get starstruck. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the New York Knicks. I take my hats off to them. They did it, but the NBA needs the Knicks for that storyline. The NBA needs the Knicks, and we're going to see. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell. Shout out to everybody over there, the Cavs. I wish he speedy recovery as well. Donovan Mitchell is dealing with something. I don't know if he's going to play Game 5, but it's a very, very pivotal Game 5 that he's going to have to decide what he's going to do, because the Pacers going to be running them boys up and down. So they playing the pivotal Game 5. But if I had to bet who's going to take Game 5, Cavs or the Knicks, I got the Knicks better because they need Tatum. If Tatum don't play Game 5, I don't know if Jaylen Brown's enough. He's been off. He's been 29% from the three-point line. So he's been having a subpar series at best. So we're going to see what he can do, ladies and gentlemen. Until the next time, it's Mr. 444, and that's all I got for you. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you got a business or something like that, you can hit me up, and I'll definitely promote your business on my platform for free. I don't charge. You can come on here and build your platform as well. Until next time, it's Mr. 444, and I'm out. 1.